Joining me, my guy with the Mets jersey on, with the Mets t-shirt, I should say. We got a rep, Lindor, DeGrom. This is the most hyped I've been for baseball in a long time.
Dude, this is the most hype I've been for New York sports in a long time.
That's
Let's just take that right there. You know what I mean?
As I got my Knicks shorts on, gave me a compliment before. My guy Sam is in the building. Sam was on a podcast a while back, over a year and a half ago, bro.
Yeah. And this last year has also felt like, just kind of like we lost the year almost in some ways, right? But it's like, yeah, that's like, it's wild. You said that to me earlier that it was like a year and a half ago. I'm like, man, I don't know if it was like a year and a half ago or it was like 2 years ago or like 6 months ago. It's all kind of blurred into one spot now.
Yeah, because so Sam and I grew up together. We went to rival high schools and shit. We used to hate each other back in the day, but now we're like really good friends. But we played football on Sundays together. And then you came on the pod because you do some really interesting shit, bro. And I know I've had you on before, but there's, the audience has grown a little bit. Tell the people a little bit about what you do.
First, I guess I'm a teacher, but, it's not really like what I do, like necessarily. It's not where my main focus is. It's just kind of what I do just in the meantime, right? Like I would say. But I am a coach, right? And more specifically, like I coach girls flag football here in New York City. That's kind of like one of like the things that's like, I would say, like I also coach wrestling. For a little while, I was coaching boys football also, but I feel like I've kind of like more so transitioned with flag football, like specifically for girls being my main focus. And truthfully, it's just like, it's not like anything like whatever, like, I just have so much fun doing it. You know what I mean? It's just like a ball. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I would say like, I'm like a girls flag football coach here in the city at Martin Luther King High School in Manhattan, and we do pretty well. You know what I mean? We took over a program that like never won a game, and we transitioned it into being like one of the top schools in the city. So it's pretty cool. Haven't got that championship that I've been dying for yet. Thought last year we would have had a good shot, but everything got.
I know, man. I know. You brought me to one of those clinics that Jen Welter, she's the former first-time NFL women's coach.
Yeah.
She was with the Cardinals, I believe.
Yeah. She was with the Cardinals under Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's the one whose camp it was. And it was dope. I got to go over there with you because I was going to get her on the pod. And she was like such a badass.
Yeah.
Like she commands. Like, it was like super cool. And
commands respect.
Yeah,
right?
we also. It was funny. They were doing like line calls when all the coaches were introducing themselves. And then it was my turn. I just looked at Sam and shouts to Solomon. I was just like, "All right, Nick, kicking coach, quarterback coach, Martin Luther King." Like, fuck you, roll.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating because, there's that conversation about. When should you let kids, and shit, I just turned 30, so me saying this, I just feel like mad old, like half my age, right?
I feel that.
When should you let young kids tackle football? Should they be playing flag football until they're sophomores, juniors? And the one thing that I thought that was really, really fucking dope was, first of all, how many girls came out? There was a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see how much they loved playing it.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that actually like I love about flag football, right? Whatever, like, being in high school, playing high school football. I always heard my coaches talk about, right? Like Agresti, right? Agresti always used to say, this is the purest form of football, right? Like unadulterated, you know what I mean? Just like there's nothing, you're playing for the love of the game, right? And I held that true. I really did believe that until I started coaching girls flag football, right? And then it's like, oh, no. This is the most purest form of football, right? Because it really is unfiltered, right? We're playing football, right? We're done with playing football. What do? We go home, we jump on Madden, right? We're playing football. So it's not unfiltered.
Yo, literally, that was my entire high school experience.
Yeah, you and like half the country. You know what I mean?
You end practice, you get home at like 7:30. I'll be honest with you, I would bullshit homework, kind of just like make sure I had it done. And then I'd hop on Call of Duty till like 1 in the
Yeah.
morning, and then rinse repeat. That was my entire football season.
Yeah, no, for sure. And but so my point was though, right, is that it's like they don't have that. Like, they're not going home and playing Madden. Like shit, like, they might know like who Patrick Mahomes is, right? Like, but they don't know anything else than that. Like, you know what I mean?
So you've noticed that some of them don't even watch football?
Dude, some of them, look, no, I'm not even joking, right? I start every season, right? With when I get that new group of girls, I hold a football in my hand. I go, this is a football, all right? It's harder to catch. It's shaped differently.
Doesn't bounce like
it
anything
doesn't
else.
bounce like
Yeah.
anything else. You know what I mean? Like I go through it with them. I literally go, yeah. You see these laces? You have to hold the laces here. That's something I learned when I was like 6 or 7 years old, right? Someone, whatever, an older kid in the park was like, yo, here, hold it like this. Okay, yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, put your finger on top of that white strap right there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, okay, boom. That's stuff they don't know. They have no clue. So I'm here teaching them raw. Like they're just getting this information, you know what I mean? And and they're in high school, you know what I mean? Like, sure, they might have seen some things. Occasionally we get like one or two that you're like, oh, all right, this one already knows what to do, sort of, but for the most part, it's us, molding them, you know what I mean, making them what we want to make them, that's to me is the most purest form of football, right? Like, and to even more, like in more of an extent, it's like, you're talking about like little kids, right? When do we put them in pads and all that stuff, right? And I would say like, it's the same concept, right? Like as far as like little kids, when they first start playing, that's like the purest form. They don't know anything. They're just, first time I put pads on, I was like 8 years old. They put shoulder pads and a helmet on me and pushed me out back when ICYP had a tackle football league, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, that was like the most pure form I've ever played in retrospect, high school, it's already all filtered. Now there's more pressures, right? Oh shit, I don't catch this ball, this girl's gonna think this, you know what I mean? Like it's all whole levels of shit, but that shit doesn't exist when no one's watching, so I don't know.
What's the future of this flag football stuff? Because I know last time that I had you on, we were having this conversation because it was really eye opening to me when I saw how many girls. Bro, there was like close to 200 girls there across all of them.
Yeah,
and it's picking up more and more steam. And at the time that we were recording, you had said that it might become an NCAA sport. Has it? Where is it now?
Yeah, so actually it has become an NCAA sport, right, with the help of NFL Flag. Right, so NFL Flag kind of like stepped in and they're making like an initiative to grow it as an NCAA sport, and what they've done is they started it at the NAIA level, right? So like for people that don't know what the NAIA level is, it's like, in a way, it's almost like a fourth division, right? That many people don't know about. It's usually like typically for like smaller schools, right? I think that's based off the size of the school.
In comparison to D1, D2 schools, would you say it's like club level?
No. This is not. I wouldn't say it's like club level. I would say that they're like at least like high level D3 schools.
Oh,
like low level, like
that's fire.
Like D2 schools. Yeah, no. They're look. Not only that, right? Like the reason why I think it's very significant that it's getting, it's starting at the NAIA level, right? Is because NAIA is the only other division that gives athletic scholarships out.
Right, D3 schools don't give out scholarships.
D3 don't give scholarships out.
I got like leadership grants and shit, BS like that to go play when I was in Buffalo State.
Yeah, they give you things like that, right? But like as far as getting an athletic scholarship, NAIA is the only one that's actually giving those out.
So there's high school girls that play flag football that can get scholarships?
Starting this year. So this year is like the inaugural year. So there are girls that are out there right now that have gotten some college scholarships. But I would assume that it's maybe one or two scholarships on a team. I can't see it being any more than that. Or maybe like partial scholarships, things of that nature.
When is the season played?
In the spring, right?
So is that going to be a difficulty for girls to get scholarships when, I mean, the college year starts in September, late August, September. So is there enough time for a girl who's playing in her senior year spring ball for high school levels? Your season ends, maybe a little bit before Memorial Day weekend? if you go all the way.
Sure, yeah,
And then before you know it, you have 3 months. You at that point already have an idea of where you're going to school. So do you think that could be something that might hold them back?
So I will like yes, right? Especially if you're like one of those kids that are like you didn't ever. Let's just say like your senior year is your breakout year,
Right.
which is very possible if you started playing in the ninth grade, right? Like your senior year, everything finally started to click and you started to work together. So that could affect you, right? Now, if you had like a really good junior year, or if you played well, like throughout high school, then like you have a better chance. Obviously, there's more tape on you, right? But NFL flag is also doing like some pretty cool things with like getting awareness out, right? So they like last month or 2 months ago, they hosted a combine, and they had like kids from like I want to say all over the country, but the honest truth of it is like it's not even being really played all over the country at this point, right? So you have like
How many states have it?
I want to say that it's like 5 states right now, right? Somewhere around there. So New York City actually has like the largest league, right? It just so happens to be that way. But then after that, right, it's like really, really, really popular in Florida, right? So last year, listen to this like stat, and you're gonna think this is nuts, but last year, or no, not last year. So I guess in 2019, right, there was just as many girls playing flag football as there were boys playing football in the state of Florida. And Florida is a football powerhouse, right?
Yeah.
So
it's like Ohio, California, Texas, and Florida is where you get the cream of the crop.
So like just that alone is like insane. Now, I'm pretty sure that like 90% of the girls that are playing on the college level right now are from Florida, right? After Florida, though, Alaska has a really huge league. California has a pretty big league.
I actually found it right here. So Nike made a partnership with the NFL, $5 million grant, multi-year initiative, up to $100,000 in donations on uniforms, socks, and shit like that, beginning on February 2nd of this past year. Mm-hmm. You're right. Alaska, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Nevada, and New York. New York having the most active girls flag football participants.
Yeah. So actually, that Nike thing, that's like another new thing that just happened. So look, right? So now you have Nike backing, you have the NFL flag backing, right? They're really pushing to get this, this in motion. And to be completely honest, right? Like, they're granting $100,000 to start a team. You do not need $100,000 to start a team, right? You just don't. Like, it's not, like you can do it under 10 grand, you know what I mean? Which is like, I think that's not that it's hurting it, right? Because like, obviously if you can like, whatever, you give me 100 grand, I'll find a way to use it. Like, don't get it twisted, right? But, it's like, I don't want it to hurt the sport essentially, right? Because somebody might see that number, right? If you're an administrator in a school and go, oh, well, like we can't put 100 grand up for like girls flag football, right? Like that's as much as you need to have boys football, like, so I think that can kind of hurt the sport in some ways, right? At least like that number being like, here's what you need to start, right? Because like, right, what's like, what's the thing about basketball, right? What do you need? A basketball and a hoop, right? Like, yo, truthfully, like, what do you need for flag football? Footballs and some flags, like,
some gloves. Yeah,
some gloves.
I remember
you
were saying like you would go to the outlets and shit, and you would buy gloves.
Still doing it.
Yeah,
still doing it.
Bro,
yeah.
Look, you see those gloves over there, the giant ones?
Oh yeah.
They're not autographed or anything. They cost $100. It's the one that when you put your hands up, it's NY. They're like $12 at Marshalls. I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go and put them on there.
Oh yeah, no, dude. I listen. That's what I do. Like I run around.
Yeah,
grab
I remember
every glove I can find.
Telling me, yo, it's interesting you say that about the money being funded into it, and about how like, football, for the most part, the equipment is expensive, but a lot of times the school is funding that.
Yeah.
So you basically just need cleats. Basketball, you need a good pair of shoes. They supply everything else. The thing that holds back soccer in the U.S. is that it's a fucking expensive ass sport to play. Like, you want to play on a good travel team, it's going to cost you like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Whereas all over the world, it's considered the poor man's sport, where here it's like lacrosse and soccer and even hockey. Dude, you need a pair of skates. A stick is like $300.
Yeah.
Espo.
Yeah.
I remember I went to his hockey game. So his route was after high school, the hockey player route is they go and play juniors. So Espo was like a freshman at like 21, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas you're what, a junior entering your senior year, maybe,
Yeah.
give or take, depending when your birthday is. And I remember we went out to Vermont, and he had a big ass game, and he was a starter on that team playing juniors, and he broke one of his sticks, and his dad was like, "What the fuck?" It's like $300 down the drain. And I was like, "Yo, 300?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, this is a third stick this fucking kid broke in like 3 months." I'm like, God. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not feeding him." He's like, going up, you know. But then I start thinking like, that's why there's a lot of similarities between hockey and soccer in the sense of in this country where it's a very expensive sport for you to go and play and take it seriously. Where like with football, the equipment is expensive, like I said before, but it's not that expensive for you to get into it, especially when you have, dude, if you're a girl and you're looking at this, they have this kind of funding for it. Like that's fucking awesome to get it off the ground too.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like I would say that, right now, right, you have a daughter right now, and whatever, she's 5, 6 years old. Whatever sport you were thinking about doing before, like, put a football in her hand. You know what I mean? Like, this is only going to get bigger, right? Look, Nike's here, handing money out,
NFL
right?
also.
NFL, handing money out, right? They're trying to get this thing off the ground. They're trying to do this right. And I think it will, man. I honestly, like, you know what it is, man? Like, and like, you were there that day, right? It's just so much fun. Like, that's what it comes down to. It's just like, oh my God, like I'm having so much fun doing this, right? Like when we were like coaching, even coaching, you know what I mean? Like coaching and struggling, fun, right? Like coaching and winning, obviously fun, right? You know what I mean? But it's just like every little thing in it. It's just like, oh, this is great, man. Like we're just in this sport and like loving it, So I hope, I hope it grows, and I hope I grow with it, type of shit.
So what's the route for you to throw your name in a hat to become a coach somewhere?
Yeah, dude. So, that's the thing, right? It's like there really isn't a route right now.
Because it's so new.
It's so new. You kind of have to, like, do the route yourself, like you pave the route yourself. So, whatever, like I'm from New York, man. Like I'm going to hustle no matter what, right? So, at first, right, like, they announced it. I don't know how many teams it was, maybe like 15 or 16 teams that they were going to start with the NAIA. Right? So the day they announced it, I sent an email to every athletic director that was out there, right? Like 3 of them got back to me, right? So I did like a little Zoom thing with one of them, right? It was cool, whatever. Nothing really happened from there. It's all good, right? And honestly, I think it's because like they were hiring coaches from the boys teams, right? So and whatever, that's fine, you know what I mean? Like those guys, look, college coaches or college coaches in general, that shit's a grind. So it's like I ain't trying to take anybody's like opportunity away. You know what I mean? But I do ultimately think though, eventually they're gonna have to look at this and go, oh wait, who has experience doing this? Like who's been doing this? You know what I mean? Because it's a different game. It really is. Like it's the same thing. Like when we're playing on Sundays, that's not the same thing as when we're, when we got pads on and stuff like that. It's a completely different game. Are there things that are the same? Sure, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? So I ultimately like, as more teams come up, or you know what I mean, like, and even more so, like even schools that haven't announced that they're gonna have a team, I have straight up like I've looked in the areas and I go, you know what, that school could have a team. I'm gonna email them, right? Like, you know what I mean? So I've been like just putting them out there. I put in my name out there to the point where like I'm on like a wait list or like on a coaching list for applicants on like 6 different schools at this point, just because I'm just here. Hey, yo. Hey, look, this is what I've been doing. Sending them tapes of my team going like, hey, look, we've developed them from not being able to throw a football to this. It's a grind, but
yeah, man. And you know what sucks, dude? Because I saw some of the girls that were representing your school when we went to this thing. And I remember telling you like, yo, I'm not going to lie to you. You got some savages. Like your girls were good.
Yeah.
Like they stood out. Mm-hmm. And I remember even other coaches coming and saying like, oh, who's that girl? Like, what school is she from and whatnot? And it sucks that you ended up losing this past year because I feel like you had that core of girls that were going to.
Yeah, I mean, I had a girl that was like, one of the top quarterbacks in like the city, right? Consistently. I had a girl, right? She was like.
Dude, I remember I worked with her at the camp.
Yeah.
She had a cannon.
Yeah.
She threw hard.
Yeah.
And I just showed her one thing I just told her, yo, we know you have a cannon.
Yeah.
If it's a 5-yard button hook, you don't need to kill your wide receiver.
It's called touch, kid.
It's called touch. Yeah, just take a look. Let's go throw a little change up every now and then.
Yeah. Funny thing about her, right? So I've taken her to like multiple camps and stuff like that, right? And there was one. I got them involved into this thing with NFL flag. It was basically like an NFL corporation like flag football day. Right. So what I did was I volunteered my team to go and like work the area and stuff like that. So NFL players are coming there and stuff like that. Right. Jordan Palmer was there. Right. And he saw her throwing the football. And I'm no joke. Like Jordan Palmer has like the quarterback summit.
Yeah.
He works with like every young quarterback coming into like the NFL. He took her to the side. Right. And spent like an hour and a half with her. And I just looked at her. I was like, that was like a fucking $10,000.
Yeah,
that was a $10,000 lesson you just got right there, kid.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But it was just like, and like, I was talking to him, and he was like, "Dude, she has a hose, man. Like, she can just let that rip." And I'm like, yeah, I know. And he was like, I've seen. He's straight up. He's like, I've seen like boy quarterbacks, like in high school level, that don't have like this type of like tight spiral and stuff like that. Granted, our ball's a little smaller, but so are their hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it correlates the same, right?
But he's like, yo, she can like really just like put it on like right on the numbers too, and so. And it's kind of like sucked for her because like that would have been like a big year. Then like also it wasn't the most opportune time, right? Like, she didn't have enough time to like for schools to see her and stuff like that. So she actually ended up going to like my old school, right? So like that girl's like, that like I tell her to like run through that wall. She's yes sir, right? And like head first, So I got her into I didn't get her into, she got herself into Cortland, but like I kind of like gave her that little push, like yo, go to Cortland.
Do they have football there?
So they don't have football there, right? But they have rugby, and it's not that that's the same sport by any means, but she's also just like. She's a lunatic, so she would like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, rugby would be good for you, actually. Like, you know what I mean? She definitely trucked girls in flag football before and like got me some flags before. So, yeah.